Thank you for joining the United Constitutional Patriots Radio Show with your host, Johnny. Johnny is still on the border. I thought he went home, but he's not going home till Sunday. So they will be reporting still from the Mexico border in New Mexico. So now I will turn the mic over to Johnny. So here's Johnny.
Oh, thank you, Pete. I appreciate it, brother. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the southern border of New Mexico and Mexico, down down here in God's land that He's put us here to help protect. Is what I really believe, and I want to welcome all of my friends, as usual. C.J. Warren, uh, and well, let's see. I'm not even going to try to name all of them right now. My mind isn't working right, but Mary, Wall, all of you. Anyway, Mike, what I want to do is I'm going to cover just a little bit of stuff here. Had an interesting week down here. We've caught a total of right around 3,300 people since we've been here. And we were all thinking it was longer than it was. We've been here for a total of about almost just right at a month. And we have been catching a lot of stuff coming through, from criminals to drugs to some of these people that had money in their pack, a lot of money. And they're supposed to come over here to start a new life. Well, they're dressed like they got $1 million, and I don't know how much money they have in their packs because we aren't allowed to search them. However, I do know that I did see inside one pack, and I had seen a bunch of bundles of $100 bills. That's a lot of money, folks, for somebody who's coming here to make a new start that's under depression in their own country. There's a whole lot wrong with that. However, right here where we were at night before last, we caught 100, and then there was another, I think, She-Wolf can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was another 60 that were all criminal. We've caught them on trains. They're finding new ways to get in, and it's keeping us hopping down here, folks. The men are really working their tail end off. We've had visits, Sunday version, I guess Sunday is going to be in USA Today. We made the newspaper there. They came up, did a very good coverage on us. Then we have another one that we're going to let you actually see what we did down here with a correspondent that works. He works with 700 Club and all them. But the report I'm pretty happy with, because he told the truth, complete truth, and that's what this group, not just this group, but that's what this radio show's about, getting the truth out to you folks. We hear a lot of rumors of what's going on with President Trump on this. We haven't had any confirmations on anything, including the rumor going around that he is going to close the border down. Well, we had Mr. Clarkston from Washington, D.C. up again yesterday with us, and he explained to me the reason he hasn't shut the border down is because of the commercial traffic coming across. A lot of the stuff that for the United States, car parts and stuff, are made in Mexico. And he said that could devastate the economy there. So I don't know the whole story on it, but when we get it, we will let you know. Now, the men down here, we have had more people come in doing a great job. We have volunteers that are coming in that have proven the point that they're true patriots. I'm really proud of these guys. Former military, well-trained. Border Patrol has no problem with these guys. We're working in unison with them, helping them every way we can, and we're going to continue doing it as long as they, as long as we can assist them and they want us here, we're going to be here. If they didn't want us here, we'd have been out of here. But we have not had any problems of any kind with the Border Patrol at all. So, if you hear rumors that, just dismiss them. It's BS. I really don't know what to tell you. The situation is the same down here. They're still coming across in groves over the monument every night, continuously, bringing a lot of sick people in. We have caught some coyotes that were bringing them in, but we've now we're having children coming across unaccompanied, and they have the phone numbers written on them to who they're supposed to call to come and get these. And it's not good that they're being trafficked the way they are. We got to stop this. That's why we're here, to open the eyes. We need the wall so people can see what's really happening on the border and the border wall, and what's going on, down in Mexico, which we do have some reports on there. I will let She-Wolf give here in a little while. But in the meantime, I'm going to turn this over to, I think, Pete, I believe, so we can run this video so you can actually see. Now, this was videoed day before yesterday. He's a war correspondent that works with PTL or whatever that Christian station is, and even talks about what he has seen when he was out of country, the other countries, how they're getting these kids here and what they're doing. So, folks, pay attention to this newscast because it's telling the way it is. He's got some of our videos in there and others verifying, showing what he's talking about. So, Pete, you want to take it from there?
Border Patrol and ICE, and indeed the American people, are facing a real crisis on the border. And we're going to be talking about that and airing some of the interviews that we got today on the Hot Zone. So stay tuned.
This is the Hot Zone. Engaging with the news in a whole new way, international war correspondent Chuck Holton brings insight into areas of crisis and lets you help those affected.
This is the bollard-style fencing that the Trump administration says it would like to build along the entire southern border, and it's very effective. It's 18 feet high. It's got a no-climb element on top of smooth metal, and it's filled with concrete, so it's really hard to cut down like we've seen them do elsewhere. And the problem with that is, right now there are so many people coming across the border that all of the agents are off the border processing people, and they can't be here watching this fence. So no fence is going to be effective if you can't watch it, but especially if the fence just ends like it does right here, and there you have Mexico. So what we're seeing is migrants just walking right across. They go around the fences being built. And so there's a group of American volunteers that has decided to try to assist the Border Patrol and do something about that. So I'm here with Jim Benvey. They're with the United Constitutional Patriots. And it's the patriotic group that is out here trying to help along the border. Tell me a little bit about what you all are doing out here.
Well, the biggest thing we're doing out here is we're assisting and delivering a message to the United States that there is, in fact, a crisis and a national emergency on our U.S. border. The way that we're doing this is we have a group of ex-military and ex-law enforcement that have all basically given up their time to come down here and assist in overstrained Border Patrol. In the process of assisting them, we are documenting the people that are coming in, as well as putting out videos that probably will never be seen on any other news network.
Yeah, I haven't seen any on the news, and so we're going to put some of those in this podcast.
Absolutely.
Tell me what the motivation is for the people who are coming and sitting out here in the hot sun and doing this day after day.
It's a crisis. What we have is quite a few crises, actually. One of them is we have people coming from all over the world, coming through our border by the thousands on a daily basis, and some of them are using asylum claims, which are fraudulent. Some of them are using children. For those of you that don't know, children is one of the biggest things that kind of should concern everybody involved in this picture. What happens is that they've monetized children. If you come across the U.S. border and you've got a child, that is pretty much a ticket for you to stay here. So what's happened as a result of that is we have children that don't belong to individuals being used to come through the border. We have a term called child recycling. Child recycling is when one parent comes with the child, comes in, and then sends the child back to the other person they're trying to get in, uses the same child. And then, of course, we have the kidnapped babies that come in, don't belong to the parent, and then when they get in, they have no use for the baby, so they sell them into sex trafficking.
Now, I've got unsubstantiated reports of this happening here, but I have actually seen it happening on the border of Venezuela, where I just was. But I've been told that it also happens here, although I can't corroborate that people will rent their babies to people coming across.
Absolutely.
And once you get across, get processed and everything, then you send it back. And, you people are actually making money off of their children that way. But again, I don't have independent corroboration of that happening right here, although I have seen it happen in Venezuela.
It is happening here. We've got videos where you can clearly tell that the man with the child it's not his kid. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, and this is where the real national emergency is, even if you're somebody who's just saying, well, these poor people, they're just coming here for a better life, consider this. When you have a group of 1,000 people come across the border illegally and they all just say, hey, we're here to claim asylum, they tie up the Border Patrol agents that are on duty. The cartel knows this. And so the cartel uses them as a distraction so that they can get the more dangerous people across the border through other routes. They're able to traffic more drugs. Mm-hmm. They're able to human traffic, sex traffic, opioids, whatever, you name it. And so while everybody is concerned about this, them being compassionate, the real criminals, the people that know they won't make it through that process that we talk about, where they get the criminal background check, the ties to terrorism check, there's not a lot of documentation that's done on the children either, just so you guys are aware of that, okay? So don't think that just because we process them or they get sent to processing that, we're going to immediately identify that this isn't somebody's kid. That's not what's happening.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that these kids come across and we're checking their passports. These kids don't have passports. A lot of the adults don't have passports.
That's correct.
These are stateless persons. They have no paperwork. They appear in no database anywhere. They've never been fingerprinted. They've never had their biometrics taken. And so there really is nothing to check. And so this person could say, I'm from Guatemala, when they're actually from El Salvador. They could say, I'm from Nicaragua, when in reality they're from Syria, for Pete's sake. I mean, I've reported on people who have been mistaken for people of other nationalities over the last several years. So that definitely does happen. Now, tell me about this place where we are right here. What's going on right here behind you?
Right behind us, we're in a what they call, this is Sunland Park. This is part of the New Mexico-El Paso border. This right here is Anapra, Mexico. This wall you see right here, right down there is where this wall ends, okay? And if you can see my hand, which you can't, yes, but up behind us there's a mountain. That's all open, it's all Mexico. And so we're here in this area because this is an area where they can cross. They cross during the day, they cross at night. The runners a lot of times will go up in these hills behind us. Sometimes there's tunnels down here by the railroad tracks where they can get out into the middle of this field here. Literally, they're coming in from everywhere, guys. That's the message that we're trying to portray.
Now, are you seeing them yourself?
We're not only seeing them, but if you guys get to those videos, you're going to see probably a lot more than you want to see. We've had people, literally women and children, walking into Camp Liberty. That's the name of our camp. Mm-hmm. And we get them over there and they collapse. I mean, there was one we've got documented on video. Had we not been there, she probably would be dead. So it's not a racism thing. It's about coming here legally. Yes, I know we need more attorneys, and I know that it's not just an issue of a wall. That's still one step. You know, we have to have reform in our immigration laws, but you can't just tell everybody in the world that they can just come here, say the word asylum, and then let them go into the community. We can't sustain this. The healthcare can't sustain it. The Border Patrol can't sustain it. The detention facilities here can't sustain it. They're now, I believe, calling for help for people to house these people. If you've been to any of the hotels around here in El Paso, you're not going to get a room. They're full of illegal immigrants. It's like little caravans at the hotels. And from what I understand, we're expecting over 1,000 a day just in this sector. This is a 2,200-mile border.
In the last 2 days, what the Border Patrol commissioner just told us, in the last 2 days, they have received more than 4,000 a day for the last 2 days.
Just in this sector.
Yeah, just in El Paso sector. Yep. And so that is so far above crisis levels, it's just not even funny. It's like saying if the river gets to 10 feet, it's at flood stage, and today it's at 110 feet.
Right.
I mean,
the numbers from the Border Patrol, if you want some specific numbers, this month, or February, we'll use February because that was the documented month. Last year in February, the number of families coming in claiming asylum versus this February claiming asylum is up 1,636% in this sector. And I know Arizona's having issues. I know California's having issues. And Oath Keepers are over in Texas. They're having issues over on the Rio Grande.
So let's talk about your organization. I mean, there are a lot of disparate groups that are trying to help, that are volunteers like yours. Some of them are what you would call militias. They're out there, you know, they're carrying guns around and they're patrolling the border and that sort of thing. I don't see firearms. Tell me about your organization.
Well, we do carry firearms. We carry them for our protection only. People ask us all the time, what is the rule of engagement? It's no different than if we were on the street. Unless we're shot at or somebody feels there's an imminent threat of death, we're not here to shoot people. But we do have dangerous people around us. We do have people, serious criminals, cartels that don't care. And again, you're dealing with big numbers. You know, to assume that every time 200 people come through the border, that every single one of them is a good citizen is absolutely insane.
Well, we know that's not the case.
That's not the case.
Traveled with them, right. I can tell you that I speak Spanish, and so you talk to them. The only question you have to ask is, have you been to the United States before? And they'll say, well, yeah, I've been there 3 or 4 times. And you say, well, why aren't you there now? And they say, because I was deported. So if that's the case, then ipso facto, they are a criminal coming into the United States.
That's exactly right.
Most of them have been deported for criminal acts, not just the act of coming into the United States illegally.
That's right.
So I've seen that with my own eyes as well. But answer the people who say, well, you guys shouldn't be out here. You know, you're vigilantes. You're not being helpful at all. This is vigilantism. This is being a militia. A bunch of right-wing whack jobs. You know, that kind of thing. Right. How do you answer those kind of accusations?
Well, you know, our group also has done a lot of work during the hurricanes. And we do carry arms. We're first responders in a hurricane, and we work aside law enforcement during a hurricane. This is a national emergency. This isn't a joke. This isn't even a political stunt. This is not manufactured. We're down here. We have very highly trained individuals down here, some that have, and I hate to say this, no disrespect, but more training than the Border Patrol. So it's a very disciplined organization. For you people that don't think that we should be here, the only thing I can say to you is that you're not on the border. You're not seeing what's going on. Maybe your eyes aren't open. Maybe you believe Nancy Pelosi and her narrative that nothing's wrong down here. Our only goal down here is to send the American people a message and to show them boots on the ground. We do not think that we can stop in this little sector everything that's going on the border without a border wall, without border security. That's why we're behind Trump. He's giving it to the American people the way it is. And I don't know if it's just because they hate the man, what it is, but he's telling the truth. And so we're trying to document that truth from a non-biased, very neutral position of live feed video to show what's exactly going on.
Yeah, live feed video, at least you're not editing it.
There's no editing.
Yeah, you're just showing what you're seeing.
We're showing what we're seeing.
Yeah, that makes sense. And right, left, or center, it's a humanitarian crisis for the people coming across, if nothing else.
Absolutely. What about the kids? I had a guy did a debate on ABC 7, and the guy asked me, or the guy was talking about, you're just not being humanitarian. Well, let me ask you a question. What about these kids? He wouldn't answer my question. Okay, these kids, every group we see that comes in, 40 to 50% of them are made up of children. Some of them unaccompanied. Some of them are babies with phone numbers on them. Okay? these kids are being used. As long as our immigration system stays the way it is right now, we have monetized children. What I'd like to see happen is, why don't they go down to these southern countries and find out how many kids are missing, have been reported kidnapped, okay? And put that database together and compare it against the database we have here. But unfortunately, again, guys, we don't have a database here.
And they don't keep databases like that.
No, they don't. And then we got children that come unaccompanied. Well, they're being housed in government daycare centers, and they could end up staying there till they're 18 years old, and then they get what's called assimilation citizenship. But then 18 years raised in a government daycare center. Is that good for people either?
That's not healthy.
The drugs coming in, it's a crisis.
So are you seeing drugs, or I mean, are they?
Absolutely, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Matter of fact, they do all kinds of things to bring them in. We'll have, there's only so much we can do. We can't break the law as citizens. We can, as they say, observe and report. Okay, see something, say something. Okay, I can't stop a vehicle in here, even if I know it has drugs in it. The Border Patrol can stop it, but even they're limited. They can ask, are you a U.S. citizen? Do you have any illegals? They may take it a step further and say, can I open the trunk of your car? Can I search your vehicle? If the person denies that, then maybe they can bring out a dog. The dog hits, then they can open the door. But they do all kinds of things here. They literally, they'll come through the border here on a motorcycle, drive up to the hill over here, and switch drivers and come back down this way. And we see it. We see people on the train, the railroad track behind me here, people hiding on the train. Those aren't people that are coming here to claim asylum. Those are criminals. We see the coyotes leading groups of people. Sometimes we have chases out here at night. There's not enough Border Patrol available most of the time to deal with that. And if you could talk to a Border Patrol agent off the record, here's what they would say to you. I didn't join the Border Patrol to be an Uber driver. They're not out here fighting crime right now, okay? They were pulled off the highways, the checkpoints. There's no more checkpoints. They're all down here to deal with the asylum seekers. So the cartel over there is getting rich, anywhere from $1,700 to, I think it's $5,000 a head to get them up here, and they don't even have to bring them into the U.S. They drop them off at the border. They use the Border Patrol as an Uber service. The cartel, Mexico's getting rich, and then at the same time, you've got the cartel moving drugs like it's candy. So when they say there's no crisis, I can tell you this. If the number of people coming in is up 1,636%, the amount of drugs and crime coming into the country is equal to that, because we're not catching them. Here, one last thing I want to say. Everybody says, well, look at the crime rates in the border cities. And they always use that. The left always uses that as an argument. Understand something. Their destination is not the border city. They're not interested in the border city. They come through, they get processed in a border city, and then they come to a city near you. We don't know the real crime statistic. There's no such thing as a real crime statistic, because we don't know. These people disappear into the cracks of society. And now with sanctuary cities, that doesn't help either. But I promise Americans this: if you ignore this crisis, if we don't build a wall, if we don't get new immigration laws soon and start enforcing the laws, we're going to have a serious problem in this country, because it's going to get ran over. It's like asking China. If all of China wanted to move here today, how many Americans, liberal or Republican, would say, oh, yeah, bring them over?
Yeah. I mean,
we're being invaded.
Yeah, there's no two ways about it. It is, without a doubt, a crisis. It's a crisis for both sides. I mean, I spend a lot of time in Latin America, and I see the crisis from the other side.
Yep.
And I see these people being sold an idea by left-wing groups and governments and things down in Latin America, and even CNN. I mean, they have an infomercial that they run in Spanish that says, here is a list of cities that will welcome you with open arms in the United States.
Okay.
And it's like a 30-minute infomercial on how to come illegally to the U.S. and how to hide once you're here in these sanctuary cities. So I've seen it myself. I've talked to these people, and I can tell you that it's a humanitarian crisis on their end, every bit as much as it is on our end. And I don't mean specifically that it's because they are, because they're living in poor conditions.
Right.
If it's just poor conditions, they could go to other places countries in Latin America where things aren't as bad. And they could do just fine. But the reason that they're coming here is what the United States government needs to address.
Exactly.
What you guys are doing.
And when they come through, just last note, most of my videos, if you watch them, they're dressed extremely nice, new tennis shoes, You look at their luggage is expensive. A lot of them come with a lot of cash in their pockets. We had a guy out here the other day. We opened his bag. He had over $10,000 in U.S. dollars in his bag.
Wow.
And now, thankfully, in that case, you're only allowed to bring 10,000. But my point is, a lot of them are just over here taking advantage, and it makes it tough, even from this standpoint, to tell the difference between the real ones and the ones that aren't.
Well, it's got to be tough for you guys because, you know, the Border Patrol has to say, we don't need those guys. We don't have anything to do with them, but we know that you're helping out here. There's no way that you can't be, because what you're doing is you're getting the word out. And, you know, that's what the Hot Zone podcast is all about. Whether or not if you're a liberal or conservative, if you're left or right, it's hard to dispute the fact that we have a problem on this border. And whether or not you agree with what this Patriot group is doing, they are here on the border volunteering their time and resources to try to do something about the problem. And so if you're not down here doing something about the problem, I don't think you have much room to complain. But so I just say God bless you, and we'll be praying for you guys, and thank you very much for what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thanks.
The Hot Zone is produced by Amy Holton and Livefire Media. Copyright 2019.
I'm here. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much told the whole story of what we're up against, what we're going through. And we do need boots on the ground. We do need donations. We need help. Now, we've got another situation going on that She Wolf, I need her to come back in so we can, she can give the update, a situation going down in Mexico. In the meantime, I'll have Preacher go ahead and give you the news of today's news and what's going on. Can you do that for me, Preacher?
Okay, I'm here. All right. Well, folks, we just saw that that video live from the border. Gentleman from 700 Club did that show. And you heard what was said. Well, last night, most of you probably watched it. Most of you probably saw that. Hang on one second. All right, I'm back. This thing keeps wanting to disconnect on me for some reason or other. You probably saw that the president did a speech in Michigan, had a rally in Michigan, huge rally in Michigan. And for him, the gloves were off. And I mean, the gloves were off on the border, on the deep state, on the Russia thing, you know, the whole 9 yards. So if the president's taking the gloves off, I think it's time to take the gloves off. Let's put it this way. Let's put it on the line. Let's state it the way it is. Now, you heard him talking in that video about these people are coming across wearing new clothes, their pockets full of money. One guy had $10,000 in cash. Okay? They are not coming here to seek asylum. So let's stop calling them asylum seekers. It's not what they're coming here for. Mm-hmm. These people obviously are being paid to come here and crash the system. Why? Because that's the only way the deep state can still win. And these people are obviously being paid to come here and crash the system. And if we don't come up with some way to stop them, or the president doesn't come up with some way to stop them, then more likely it's not they're going to get it done. Now, I've got to scroll up the page for a minute so I can read something to you. All right, I'm back. Now I want to read, and I'll have to scroll every so often to read these, but I want to read several tweets from this morning from President Trump. The commander was talking a while ago about what he termed a rumor that the president was going to close the border. Well, I'd like to read this to you so that you can see for yourself that the president tweeted this morning. He starts and he says, Democrats have given us the weakest immigration laws anywhere in the world. Mexico has the strongest, and they make more than $100 billion a year on the U.S. Therefore, Congress must change our weak immigration laws now, and Mexico must stop illegals from entering the U.S. through their country and our southern border. Mexico has for many years made a fortune off the United States, far greater than border costs. If Mexico doesn't immediately stop all illegal immigration from coming into the United States through our southern border, I will be closing the border or a large section of the border next week. This would be so easy for Mexico to do, but they just take our money and talk. Besides, we lose so much money with them, especially when you add in drug trafficking, that the border closing would be, and it doesn't have the complete deal there. And then when he was at Lake Okeechobee earlier today, he said this: Mexico has to grab it, and they have to stop it. If they don't stop them, we're closing the border. And we'll close it for a long time. I'm not playing games. We stopped payments to Honduras, to Guatemala, and El Salvador. We're not letting them into our country. We're running out of space, and Mexico can stop it so easily. So as we can see there, it's not a rumor. The president is definitely saying that unless Mexico makes some kind of a move to stem the flow of illegal migrants to our border, that he will be closing the border. And I thank God for that. I appreciate that. It's high time. In fact, it's something that should have happened a long time ago. Should have just said to hell with it and sealed the border. Because it's obvious. These people that are coming through now, that our people down there on the border are stopping. Okay? And you know, dealing with down there. They are obviously not coming here seeking asylum. And they talked about the child trafficking. People actually renting their children to allow them to be brought across the border so it's easier for people to get in, or whatever reason it is. Okay? They're not coming here seeking asylum. They are being paid by somebody. And I think we can all guess who it is. But they're being paid to come here to crash our system, because that's the only way the deep state can still win and they can still have their new world order. So let's just put it on the line. These people are, poor and downtrodden and seeking asylum because they're starved to death in their home countries and yada, yada, yada. I've seen video back when the first caravan formed. I saw videotapes of long lines coming down through there and a guy standing there and handing money, mostly to the women, okay, but handing money out to these people. It was on videotape. They're being paid to come here. And somehow, some way, it's got to be stopped. Okay? I understand, when you see children in the heat and they haven't had water for a long time and they're sick, I understand how people feel about children. But we have to understand that these, again, I agree, these children are being used. But the ones they're being used by, these people, the people that are using these children and bringing them across like that, the people that are coming here being paid to come here and crash our system, I have a terribly difficult time feeling sorry for these people. I really do. Because to start with, just by stepping across that borderline, they're criminals. They're breaking the law. And I understand that we're stopping MS-13. I understand we're stopping MS-18. I understand we're stopping cartel. We're stopping drugs from coming across the border. Child traffickers from coming across. We're stopping that kind of thing. And for that reason, I'm glad our people are there. I'm glad we're doing the job that we're doing. We're not wasting our time being there. We're doing a job that's needed to be done for a long time, should have been done a long time ago. We're doing the job. And I'm proud of those men that are down there. But the rest of them that are coming in, and then they're taken somewhere, they're processed, and then they're turned loose into the country, those are the ones that are coming in here, being paid to come in here. The ones with the $500-600 iPads or iPhones, okay, money in their pockets, brand new clothes, whatever. These are the people that are being paid to come in here and crash our system. And somehow or another, one way or another, it needs to be stopped. And I believe that the president is presently preparing to make some kind of a move to try to stop it. Now, I will be back shortly with a few of the with the day's cues. I will be back shortly with those. But for right now, I will turn it back over to the commander for anything else that he wishes to say. Back to you, Commander.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the reality of him shutting the border down. He's talking about the Board of Entries. That is going to leave where we're at, all the way across the United States, every hole along the border is where they're going to be trying to come in totally illegal like they're doing now. It's going to cause an influx on us. And because of that, and we know it's coming, we already been told that we've got several thousand, not very far from here, and it was Border Patrol that told us they're going to try to come in. The other night, I think it was 3 nights ago, she will correct me if I'm wrong, we had 4,000 in one group was caught at the Arizona-New Mexico line on the New Mexico side, Hidalgo County. They were supposed to be coming in on us, but they went around us, and we thank God they did. That was the night we caught 100 and some, and they caught, I think, I don't remember how many it was. We've been catching so many now, the numbers are just running together. But even if he closes the borders, it's not going to stop what's going on. That's why we need people, boots on the ground. We need help. We need to cover New Mexico. We're the only force in New Mexico, the United Constitutional Patriots. There is nobody else here except for the Border Patrol. And they're so short-handed. Every night they're overwhelmed like we are. Somebody take over. I got a train coming by. Would you do that for me real quick, and I'll come back?
Okay, I want to just fill you in with some information that we got from boots on the ground. This morning we got some disturbing information in regard to the military down in Mexico opening fire on the citizens there of Mexico. We got an update tonight that what it is was they were firing on some fishermen because there was illegal activity going on and nothing to worry about. He informed me that if the president, he's very, very worried, and he informed me that if the president closes down the border, then it's going to turn Mexico into chaos, total chaos, and there will be bloodshed in the streets. And the stipulation that our president, President Trump, put on closing the border was if we do not get help from Mexico in stopping these caravans from coming up across Mexico, then he will close the border. And the intel that I'm getting is the president of Mexico's response was, we do not act on words of fear. In other words, no, they have no qualms or quarrels about just ignoring what Donald Trump is saying. So it looks like we are right on track to have the border closed. But like Johnny said, that is going to put an influx on the men that are standing in the open borders trying to protect the back doors, because now they can't go through the port of entries anymore. They're going to try to sneak in, and it's going to get hot and heavy and pretty nasty down there on the border. If you can help in any way, it's highly appreciated. If you can be boots on the ground, that's even better, and if you can't do either, prayers work tremendously. So please keep all of our men and women down there on the border in your prayers. God bless them and keep them.
Thank you, She-Wolf. See, folks, it's not what everything's being painted to be. They're keeping it out of the news. They don't want the American people to really know what's going on. And that's why we ask you to share our information with everybody you can. Forward it up to them. If you like the show, please hit the like. Let us know what you think. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them if I can. But like she was said, right now we need boots on the ground. We need people here, and we need donations. Our donations, because of the amount of people down here on the border, are really low, and we're praying for somebody that can reach out to help us get these donations, because we're trying. People don't realize how serious it is. We are a humanitarian group. We're not a militia. We're down here as humanitarians, but also to do what we have to do. Yeah, we are armed, like Jim said when he was interviewed, but we're armed for our own protection, not to be a threat to anybody, not to be a danger to anybody, and not to try to act like we're the badasses, because we're not. We're human just like they are. All they got to do is come across legal. But the Democrats are the ones that are behind their pay. They're the ones behind getting them here. We had some of them that we caught in camp, and one of our officers that we have here is Mexican, and she asked why they were coming here, and the woman answered her and said, because we were told as soon as we get here we can get a lot of money. That is the agenda, and it sounds bad, but it's a fact. So, folks, we're to a point to where we're getting so tired, but we can't leave. We've made a difference. We keep making a difference. This is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life with these kids. I mean, in a combat situation, you know what you're up against. With these kids, you don't. They come in, they got phone numbers on them, they're dressed good. People coming in, as soon as they see the men coming on them, sometimes these kids are picked up and used for shields. That shows how much they care about these kids. The kids aren't just rented kids. They are kids that have been stolen from their families. One of the things, I couldn't hear everything that She-Wolf was saying because the train was going by, but one of the things that we got word of is now they are paying the mothers and fathers of these children in Mexico for these kids and letting them rape and beat them.
Lost you, Johnny.
Okay, What I said, I apologize, folks. What's going on is these people are buying kids from the family, and for one purpose, so they can rape and beat them, so they can bring these young kids up here and impregnate them, and bring them up to the United States and say, see, it's a crisis in our country. We need immunity. We need sanctuary. This is what they're doing. They're giving them papers, documents to get them across. This is what we're up against, folks. We need your help. We need your advice. What would you do? How would you advise us? What would you tell us to do next? That's the question, I guess. We have patriot groups out there. There are good patriot groups. But the majority of the patriot groups that call themselves militias, all they are is keyboard warriors. They want to talk a lot, downgrade everybody that is doing something. But yet I don't see their butts down here on the border. Like I said before, I'll be 70 my next birthday, which is very shortly. If I can be down here, why the hell can't they? I'll tell you why. Because they would rather sit back and cause hell and downgrade and put people down that are actually doing, not talking. Because they're jealous of the fact we're getting it done. We have the only videos going out, period, showing what we're doing. There is another patriot group patriot group or militia out there that is doing what we're doing. We're getting the word out to the people. We're trying to open your eyes, trying to make you understand. That's what this is about. It's not who's the biggest guy, toughest guy on the block. It's about what we can do for America. What we can do to protect the American people, protect our Constitution, and stop the invasion, because this is an invasion. It is not in any way whatsoever and just immigrants coming across wanting to go to work. They're coming across with their hand out. That's where the problem comes in, and it's coming out of your pockets, folks. And if they keep coming, we're gonna see a battle in our country like you've never ever seen in your life, and that scares me. I don't want to see war on our grounds. I've seen war in other countries. It's not what is planned. It's not what is It's not some video game that some kid plays. That's where the problem is at. And like I said, we need your input too, folks. You're part of America. You are we the people. You are the only ones that can make a difference. If those people in Washington aren't doing what you're wanting them to do, get rid of them. You have the power to get them out of there. Not one person, but all of us together as Americans, as U.S. citizens, as a constitutional right. We have the power. We have to know how to work it. And the only way you can do it is by start one person, go to two to go to four, and get together, get intel, call in, start letting them know. Either you give America back to us, or we're going to get rid of you. That's what it amounts to. If you want to donate to the United Constitutional Patriots, New Mexico Border Ops on Facebook. We can sure use help, folks. If you want to donate anything other than funds, or you can even donate if you don't trust PayPal, you can send the funds to the United Constitutional Patriots. Checkmate out to them. United Constitutional Patriots, care of John Horton or Mark Cheney. P.O. Box 1334, Florida Vista, New Mexico, 87415. If you want to be boots on the ground, call me, 615-517-9599. That's 615-517-9599. Now, folks, there's a lot of people who've reached out to us. A lot of people have donated. I want to thank you folks that are helping and doing the best you can. We got we've got some of our people that have donated. They've told us, you know what, we're on a fixed income, but we want to help. We want to do what we can. I don't care if it's just $1. Anything helps. And all that money goes down here on the border. It's not easy down here. We're living in the desert. Right now, it's getting 85, 90 degrees daytime. Rattlesnakes are out. Scorpions are out. We're sitting on the border about maybe 1,500 feet from at the end of the border wall on one side of us, and maybe 900 feet from the Mexican border above us. where we see people all the time up there with scoping us. I don't know if they're going to fire on us or not, but it's on the Mexican side, and we are setting ducks. But you know what? We took an oath. We said we're going to protect our country. We're going to protect our Constitution. That's what we're about, folks. And we can't do it without you. That's all I can really say about that. Reaper, anybody have anything else you want to say there?
I got nothing.
Okay, Reaper. Thank you. Pete, you got anything? Go ahead, Pete. Okay, no problem.
I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
My button. Okay. I'd just like to say, for those people that don't actually see what we are accomplishing down there, or feel that we could be wasting time down there on the border, we are not wasting our time. I mean, every child that comes along, they are vetted to be either attached to the people that are coming along, bringing them into the country, or not. If they are not, they are being sent back home to be reunited with their parents because they were kidnapped, taken, or whatever, sold or rented along their journey to the United States and used as pawns. We are catching MS-13 on trains that would just get right through if we weren't there to spot them, to find them, to see them. We're finding coyotes with women and children. They are getting arrested. These, we might go through 100 and only find one that is a bad, bad, bad person that would have been in our country, stayed in our country had we not been there to stop them. We are there to protect our country in any way that we can. And even one child saved or one MS-13 returned to their country of origin or put into prison is definitely, definitely worth our time to try to do what we need to do to help to protect our country. I've got it up as loud as I can go.
I'd tell her to holler, but she just hollered at me, folks. So, yep. And what she was just said is very, very true. If you really want to see what is happening, I invite you to the border. Come to the border. See what we're seeing. And then go back and tell your friends. It takes a strong person and a special kind of a person to do what these men and women out here are doing. I'm very proud of what they've done. And I'm very proud of how they're doing it because we haven't had any incidences. These kids are scared to death. They don't understand what's going on when all of a sudden they got military people all the way around them who looks like military people. And then the parents don't know. Now, we have had a couple people try to challenge the men out there in the field. And one the other day didn't just challenge my men, but also challenged the Border Patrol. And the guy lost. Another situation we had is we had a person killed on the border down here the other day. People keep thinking it was a 40-year-old man that died in the hospital. No, this was kept out of the news. It was a 17-year-old young kid come across with a gun. And he decided he was going to try to take on the Border Patrol. Well, he's in his grave because of it. And this is what we don't want. But this is what's coming at us. And people don't...
I'm done.
What was that? This is what's going on. This is what people don't understand. So again, if you can donate, please do. let us know. And CJ and Warren, I will be calling you. I did get the message. I will be calling you on your T-shirts. And we do have T-shirts that people who donate, we send them T-shirts as long as they send 25 or more, because it costs us almost that to make them. But also, too, we are selling T-shirts for $25. That money is to help support the United Constitutional Patriots border ops people and help us with our expenses. Nobody's getting paid, so I may not have worded that right. It goes for supplies and stuff that is needed. Radios. We still need radios. We have quite a bit of stuff that we still need, but we're getting there, and we have a lot of good people donating and helping. We have a lady right here close by. She has been just great. She doesn't want to use her name, so I won't. She sends a gentleman out here once a week and says, make a list. What do you need? It takes a lot off of us by doing that. But we still have other things, night vision, binoculars, gas for the generators, propane for the camper. That keeps that gives us a way to cook, and it also gives us a way to charge all of our batteries and stuff and our phones, everything. So there's nothing is going in the pocket of anybody whatsoever, except for the men on the border. So if you can help, please do. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to the preacher.
Johnny?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I would just like to inform everybody that our number since we have been on the border is over 3,500 apprehensions. That's quite a few. That's 3,500 people that may have gotten through had we not been there. And just another quick note, I would really like to give a shout out to Atomic News TV and tell her thank you so much for all she has done. She has promoted United Constitutional Patriots, shared our videos, shared our stories, and she's done a great job. And she has offered to donate part of her funds that come in for her YouTube channel to the United Constitutional Patriots. So thank you very much, Atomic. You're just wonderful, and God bless you for what you do.
Yeah, and I want to thank you too, Lori, because, oh, by the way, Lori is a member of the Patriot group, and I'm really proud, and she's proud. I believe she's sworn in as a member, isn't she? I guess she can't hear me.
I can hear you. I'm sorry. What was
that? She is a sworn member to the Patriot group, right?
Yes, she sure is.
Yep, there you go. And she's a really sweet lady and does good coverage in all ways on her show as well as ours. With that, preacher, do you want to go to the cues?
Yes, sir, we can do that. Okay. Now, first of all, before I start doing the cues, let me just let you know again that you can go to qmap.pub. That's qmap.pub, and you can read all these cues for yourself. Now, yesterday, we had a rather massive cue drop. There was over 60 or 61 of them, I think it was. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the ones from today in the, because of time constraints here. Okay. And the first one is Q3304. Okay. And it starts with a FoxNews.com article. MSNBC, NBC News top political editor accused of trying to intimidate reporter on behalf of Democratic National Committee. And then there's also WikiLeaks, a link to WikiLeaks DNC emails. Okay. All right. Then they have the name Daphne Lenzer in the kill box and says fake news, propaganda arm of the Democratic Party. Okay. Then 3305 has an image, photograph inside some, I don't know, exactly what it is, but it says Amazon purchase of Ring app install allows for access to device location services on data streams accessible Q. Okay. And then 3306 Anon says, yes, agree. See the post made here in context of all the Q drops made makes shills visible. Shills attacking this post are but hurt much. Very effective post, Anon. And Q says attacks increasing. Context of drops mislabeled and used. Select orgs, journalists dropping controversial info as attempt to label as whole, screen shooting, then writing articles on drops they themselves wrote. Highlight of corrupt PAC equals deflect by PAC equals point to former members as method to shield. We are being bombarded for a reason. Look for keywords to be repeated by many. Controller and coordinated rollout. Fake news in full panic. And in brackets, he has less than 10. Q. Okay. Okay, then in Q 3307, he repeats 3306, and then he adds, when they can't attack the information provided, they attack the messenger. Define deflection, logical thinking, shield count, high. Q. And 3308, Q3308, he says, disregard any spelling errors on the move. Q. 3309, he says, why did we highlight the rally last night by showcasing the volume of support? Define bait. How many fake news Twitter journalists are tweeting about Q today regarding rally attendance last night? These people are stupid. Q. Okay. And then last but not least, Q3310, he says, threat to control narrative. Other than POTUS, can you name a group more attacked than Q? By the fake news media. Multiple tactics deployed, including framing for crimes. Think bridge, mob boss, etc. Desperation, reconcile using logic. Think for yourselves. Dividers will fail. Q. And that's the Q's for today, Commander. Dead air.
There may be a train going by, so does anybody have some fill-in they wanted?
I did.
Okay,
Go ahead, Doc.
I wanted to inquire in regards to Little Rebel's husband. Has anybody heard on that? Also, wanted to also personally thank Atomic News. And just to let y'all know that Honey and I could really, really need your prayers this weekend. We will not be attending or on the show on Monday. We have to go to Dallas, and we are going to be meeting with a national organization for parents who have had their children murdered. We are angel parents, and hopefully this organization will be at least able to help us with the sanctuary city and the wrongdoing that the police department did. So if y'all could just really keep us in your prayers this weekend, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, definitely in your prayers, definitely. I had to step outside. I just called Border Patrol. We have some people was coming over the fence, and hate to say it, right now, I'm the only one here at our base camp. Our other local people are about 20 minutes from being here, but there was a bunch of them started over the fence, Border Patrol. I had to get them on the phone, call them, and they ran like rabbits and went back across. So now the Border Patrol's down about maybe 100 yards from me, and they're just sitting waiting. They said they'd be here till the men get here.
I wanted to address what Doc had to say, and our prayers are with you, Doc, on your journey on Monday, and I hope you get the answers that you need and the help that you need and you're looking for. And God bless you and your husband for what you're going through and the battle that you're fighting right now. And as far as Little Rebel, yes, her husband went through surgery, and she had to work yesterday while he was in surgery. So I talked to her a little bit last night, and she said that he was calm and everything went good. So I haven't talked to her today, but the update on that is last we've heard he's making his way through it.
Okay. Yeah, and Doc Robinson, I want to say something. You and your husband are very close friends to all of us, and the American people need to wake up to what they're doing. You need to rally behind Doc Robinson and her husband. Mike and Deborah both they're great people, and they've had their share of hell. Rally behind them, support them. Uh, they're very proud people, but they're very good people, and they need your prayers. They need you to rally behind them, demonstrate whatever it takes to get the attention and get the help to get uh, the proper how do you put it, have this person locked up for a long time for what he did. He wasn't just illegal. This wasn't his first rodeo, and they're slapping him on the wrist, and that's all they're doing. So she needs someone. They need people to rally behind them. So Doc, my prayers are with you and Mike. You know that, and we love you, and you got our support and our prayers no matter what.
Johnny, we have a live going on with Jim Bemby right now on the other side. They've got a capture, unsure of the amount.
Okay, well, if he gets it posted, we can post it in the room where the people can see what's going on. But, Doc, our prayers are with you. We love you and Mike, and you know that we're here for you if you need anything whatsoever.
Thank you, Commander. We appreciate that.
Well, you know that you and Mike have a very special place, Mom. We have to what? The link, is the link up there? No, I don't. There's still video in it.
No, I can probably.
Okay, pick it up live. I pick it up live and show. There's okay, folks.
Try that one.
Okay, try that one.
Where these guys would go.
You have to put the link in right.
You know, if max capacity is 6,000, we're at like 15,000.
Okay,
so
now you'll be able to hear him and be able to see what's going on. I can't, so let someone let me know when it's done. Okay.
Provide church spaces and other things. And I saw something funny the left came out with that, you know, we're mistreating illegal immigrants by putting them in FEMA camps. And really what they're doing is, because the centers are over capacitated, is they're having to set up tents and build up chain link fences around them to make temporary shelter areas. Because again, each person that comes in here, in some cases it's 2-hour processing. So you take that 2 hours times, you know, 15,000 people, and considering the fact that they're just still flowing in and pouring in, it makes a real difference. So all I can say is that it is an invasion, and you know, as of right now, this is 10 more people that will end up in a city near you. Now, in the meantime, after they go through processing and they get the 5 to 7 year court date, they can have children, they can get married, they can become domiciled, which is another legal immigration defense, where they've established a residency. And, you know, our loopholes in our system are what are going to destroy this country. You guys have to remember something. The bottom line here, and the reason that the Democrats have all of a sudden taken this anti-border security stance, is because they have this agenda that they know that most of America will not go along with. And by bringing these people in illegally and letting them pour into our country the way they are, it's an invasion. They're looking at their future voters. They're looking at, you know, who will accept this socialism agenda. And, you know, that's why when we talk about how much it costs to secure the border versus how much it costs to continue to let the illegals pour in and not be able to secure our borders, it's for that reason. This is their new strategy. Collusion didn't work. They're still trying to take the president down in the Southern District of New York with a bunch of goose chase allegations. So this is just their attempt to keep it going. And always keep that in mind when we show you guys this and we talk about why, you know, people aren't doing anything. Anyway, I'm going to get back to work here, guys. We've got a unit over there that's going to wait for a shuttle van to get these guys to processing. And in the meantime, everything here is exposed. So we're going to go ahead and walk back down and form a new perimeter. And thanks, Deb. And I'll be back, I'm sure, later. But I want to thank you guys for sharing these videos, for watching, for following along with us. We're trying to get the truth out about what the real situation here at the border is. And I'll probably be back later on with some more videos. Yep, Ron, no border, no country. And you guys have heard guys like Beto O'Rourke who have no problem. Hey, Del, how you doing? Ripping down the wall. And we're not going to let that happen. So we'll be out here, and it's Friday night, so I'm expecting with the announcement that we're going to be rather busy tonight. So keep your phone on. I'll probably be back, and I'll let you guys know exactly what's happening here on the border. You can follow us at United Constitutional Patriots New Mexico Border Ops, or you can get on my page. If you can't friend me because I got too many friends, send me a PM, and I'll delete somebody. and I will add you so that you can get notified when we go live. But this is Jim. I'll talk to you guys later. The count for tonight so far is at 10 Brazilians. I'm pretty sure by the end of the night it's going to be much higher.
Yeah, I'm here. Well, that's what we do, folks. Now you've seen another one. This was live. And there'll probably be, the way it's starting out, usually they'll catch anywhere from 60 to 100, 120 a night or more. The most we've caught so far has been 195, but it's averaging out between 60 to 100 a night over on that area. Our area over here can go from anywhere from 15 to 100 or 160. We never know. That's why we need hope. We need help bad. So with that, anybody else have anything they want to say? Well, okay, preacher, would you mind doing the closing prayer?
All right, sir. If you'll bow with me, please. Lord Jesus, we come before you right now. We thank you, Lord, for this another opportunity that we've had to come here and do this show, do this great work that you've given us to do, inform our listeners of what's going on. We thank you, Lord, for this team that you've put together that works so hard here each and every day. And we pray your blessing on them. We ask a special blessing upon Doc Robinson, Nuclear Warrior, as they make their trip to Dallas, that all will go well there and they will have the help that they need. We thank you, Lord, for the answers to our prayers for Little Rebel's husband. And we thank you, Lord, for our great listeners that come here each and every night and listen to this show and get themselves informed and then bend over backwards to do whatever they can to help and support us. We appreciate that very much. Thank you, Lord, for our great president. And we ask you, Lord, to continue with him, continue to let your blood of protection be upon him and your angels be encamped around about him, his family, all those working together with him to the betterment of our country and the defeat of the deep state. And we ask you, Lord, now, as we conclude this program, we ask you to continue with us now throughout this night and in the coming days. Continue to guide us, guard us, and direct us, and draw us ever closer to one another and ever closer to thee. For we do ask it all in Jesus' holy name. Amen and amen.
Amen. Amen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, every show I say this, and I say it because it comes from my heart. We're not the only ones putting our life in danger. You have police officers out there. You have law enforcement that took the oath that we took, that are true patriots, that will put their life on the line for you in a second. When there's something goes wrong, they're the first one to respond to help you. When you see a police officer, thank him. Pray with him. When he leaves his home, he's leaving his kids and his wife behind, and they don't know if he's going to make it back that night because of the way this world is today. Same way with your first responders. Now, one of the things I was going to say I forgot about that they're getting ready to do, I don't know how it slipped my mind. It surprised me She-Wolf didn't say something about it. One of the things that they're planning on doing, and they've already started with fires, is they're planning on starting fires. And when the Border Patrol, first responders, anybody comes to help them, this next caravan coming through are claiming they are going to start these fires, and for one purpose, and that is to shoot the people fighting the fires. make it easier for them to get in. This isn't good, folks, but this is one of the words that we have. Now, of all things, last night, we seen our first fire. This is a steel wall with cement inside, and they started a fire right behind it. And I guess they doused gas or gas or something on the wall itself, where it ends right there at the opening. I guess try to make a statement that they can burn us out. Well, we stand tall, we stand ready, and we stand proud. We're Americans. We will always stand for our flag, and we will always kneel for God. And that's something that I will always do. And that's what each and every true American will do. We need patriots down here on the border. We need help down here on the border. But I'm to the point, I'm not begging. I'm done. I'm tired of it. If you want to be an American, want to prove yourself an American, and that you really love our country, you know how to contact me, 615-517-9599. I want you to keep our president in his prayers. I want you to keep our soldiers and all veterans, all patriots, anybody, keep them in your prayers, because we need them. We need them bad. They're the strongest of anything you. God answers prayer, and he's proven over. And I am proud to be an American. I'm proud to be a patriot. Me and my men are proud to be here serving you again. God bless you. We'll be on back on the air Monday night, 6 o'clock. More than likely, I have to go back to our headquarters, have more supplies and stuff to get, and personal things to take care of. So I'll probably be at our headquarters Monday night show. But in the meantime, I'm going to say God bless our president. Like I said, pray for him. He's got a heck of a job. Pray for all of us. We need your prayers. And with that, God bless you, and God bless America. Have a great night.
Thank you for joining the United Constitutional Patriots Radio Show tonight. Our next show will be on Monday, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific. I don't know why I always get that wrong. Anyway, God bless all the Patriots, and have a great weekend. Thank you so much for listening to the show.